What I'll do is I'll get started because we really want to get on to the content, right? So welcome to the November 13th, 2025 meeting of the British Empire Study Group. Thank you all for joining us. We're really happy that you did. Very happy, excited about this talk. I get excited about every talk, but I'm excited about this talk. And I do have to make a disclaimer. My mother will kill me. Today is her birthday. So she's not watching, but I should say happy birthday to my mother. And happy birthday to anyone else who is having a birthday. Anyway, just a reminder, this is a webinar. It's not a meeting. At the end, we will bring you over so you could see and talk to us. But while Jay is presenting, you could communicate through the chat, or you could put your questions in the question and answer. Again, at the end, we'll invite you to come over and join us, and you could turn on your camera and speak freely. So right now, I am going to turn it over to my co-host, Rob Lutens, to introduce tonight's speaker. Rob?
Thank you, Joan. Welcome, everyone, to the November 2025 British Empire Study Group presentation with Jay Bigalke, the President and CEO of Scott Stamp LLC, the new collector-owned company that publishes the Scott Catalog and Lynn's Stamp News. He also serves as Editor-in-Chief, leading the teams that produce these cornerstone philatelic resources. Jay is a lifelong collector and an award-winning editor. Jay is also guiding the Scott Stamp LLC into a new era that blends tradition with innovation to strengthen and grow the stamp hobby worldwide. So without further ado, I give you our esteemed presenter for this evening, Jay Bigalke.
Well, thank you very much, Rob, and welcome everybody, and thanks to the British Empire Study Group for the invitation to speak. I know I've been putting this off for a little while, but I've kind of had this big project working in the background, so I'm thrilled to finally be able to chat with you guys. It's actually a real honor to speak with collectors who I know truly know the postage stamp catalog and Lynn's and the monthly magazine that we do. So it's great to be with you. Basically, the Scott Stamp LLC story kind of started about a year ago, and it's been a process to get to this point. Our effective date was in October, and our public announcement was in mid-October, where we announced to the world that we had taken on the assets of the Scott Catalog and Lynn Stamp News and Scott Stamp Monthly from the Amos Media Company. So we're in the process of making changes, updating things along the way. It's been interesting so far hearing all the positivity, which is what I was really hoping for with the reaction from the community on this. So I will move along. So about me, I've had a background of about 20 years in philatelic publishing. I started in 2005, immediately after college. I studied retail and journalism at the University of Wisconsin, and then came to work for Lynn Stamp News as an associate editor for a number of years. I had a brief diversion where I went to the American Philatelic Society, editing their journal and doing the branding for the APS for 3 years before Rick Amos said, he wanted me to come back. And I said I wasn't going to just come back to work for Lynn Stamp News. I said I wanted to do the Scott catalog. And I said eventually, I did joke with him that I said, I was like, Rick, I'm going to be gunning for your job as president of the company. Well, that took a slightly different path, which was a little more fun. So here we are. So it's kind of a cool, full circle moment for me. The first time that I had an interaction with Lynn Stamp News was in 1996. A friend through church actually got me a subscription to Lynn Stamp News after gifting me a plate block of the Elvis Presley stamps, of all things, which was kind of fun. In one of the early publications that I started getting, they featured the Iowa statehood stamp on the cover, and it was it was pretty cool that I was able to somehow convince my father into letting me go to the first day ceremony for the Iowa statehood stamp, and that kinda set me off on a path on that front. When it comes to Scott numbers, my first introduction to Scott numbers was through Lynn Stamp News, but also through Mystic's catalog, where you could buy postage stamps or whatever. That I had a subscription to, get that because I ended up buying a few stamps from Mystic at an early age, and learned and really enjoyed flipping through that catalog, which was a gateway for me to learn more about the actual catalog. Little did I know I would end up in this situation, but here we are. Um, so as a steward to the Scott numbers now, we strive for accuracy, and we are open to changes and suggestions and interacting with collectors. Uh, it's interesting that sometimes people might not think that we make fast changes, and I've learned very quickly that there's a reason for not making fast changes to things. Once I was on a deadline for one of the Scott catalogs, and somebody sent me a certificate proving that XYZ was genuine and it needed to be updated or whatever. Catalog made the change. 1 week later, after we went to press, it was determined it was a fake. So it was, like those things stick in your mind that it's like it can wait another year to make sure that it really is indeed what it needs to be. So we do pay attention to those that level of detail. Um, so that's a little bit about me. So now it's a new era for the Scott catalog. Um, we're really excited about the ownership team. They're all stamp collectors. It's about a dozen of us total, which includes Don Sunman and Jim Feinson from Mystic Stamp Company, David Fritz, the media entertainment lawyer, my partner in this, who's helped me along the way, and between the two of us, we're really championing exciting enthusiasm, the future of the hobby, um, the use of AI technology. There are many uses for that. I will not be shy. This presentation was built using AI, but a learned model of all the things that we've been working on for the last year of this project. So it was super helpful in making this presentation. So we're excited about returning the Scott catalog to collector ownership and collector priorities. Um, so we're hoping to invest in the hobby and pump some enthusiasm into things because I know we need some enthusiasm in the world. So um, when we were picking out 800 numbers for the new entity, I thought 888 was just a memorable thing to easy to remember. 542 is just a Washington Franklin stamp, but you could play off the Scott number there. And then 1868 is the year that the Scott catalog was founded. So our phone number is 888-542-1868. Pamela is our main customer service rep. Many of you might have talked to her at some point along the line with subscription renewals and everything. She's super enthusiastic and loves talking with collectors. So please feel free to give us a call and chat and go from there. Um, so that's that part. So we're looking to basically I want to reassure that the editorial team and the production teams that you've been knowing and have known for the number of years is remaining in place. Those editors have accepted a new position with the new entity, and we're starting to get all of our processes in place. Um, I've had it come to mind many, many times, a line from a song by Amy Grant. It takes a little time sometimes to get the Titanic turned back around. Uh, Interestingly enough, obviously I've got a Titanic Lego set, actually on my shelf here. When we move from Sydney, Ohio here shortly, to Troy, Ohio, I plan on replacing the Titanic with the Endurance, Shackleton's Endurance. That also has one heck of a philatelic story to it and has had, had a post office also. But I feel like the endurance is, a good symbol for, the future of the hobby. We're hoping on enhancing we're gonna keep the editorial integrity, the accuracy, and that careful vetting of information. What will change is more flexibility, more modernization, and more responsiveness to collectors. So think of it as like if you're in IT and you want to submit a bug report to something that's going on wrong with the website, we're going to implement some processes where you can easily communicate with the editorial team that, Scott 542 is fake and you should delist it or whatever. We will have a way that it's a little easier for us to get that information and then be able to assign those tasks to different editors or section editors or country leaders of, different sections of the catalog. So we're working to that level. Um, we're hoping to strengthen the US specialized catalog and improve our worldwide volumes. Something that people will see immediately is that we're going to restore the image size to the previous, I think it's 70 or 75% of actual size for worldwide images in the volume 1 through 6 catalogs. And then we show the US images right now at 75%, but it'll be restored to the 100%. And then I am planning on having the essays section go back into the US specialized catalog this fall. It's one of those put Humpty Dumpty back together again kind of moments. But I think that'll be well received in the hobby. Um, and then on the digital front, we're going to be doing quite a bit more, and I can touch on that in a little bit. So just want to reassure everybody that nothing's being lost, and that we're only going to strengthen the Scott catalog in the future. So inside the catalog, some of the behind the scenes work is that we're working on fixing historical inconsistencies in certain areas. We have received feedback for the last couple of years on things in the catalog that we need to have updated. We have a file of that, and we are working through all those. Um, One of the specific examples of a modern US item is that the imperf stamps, when they were starting to do those press sheets, there's there's a slight inconsistency on how we handled them the first time when they came out, and then when they reintroduced them again, we've been giving them minor letters. We're hoping to get our listings updated for the Volume 1 catalog that'll have the minor listings for those other areas, so it remains consistent in that time period. That's just one of many editorial things that we're, looking to update. There are definitely new publications on the horizon. It'll take a little while, but we hope that in fall of next year for sure, there'll be some new things coming out. Um, there will be a new edition of the Errors catalog, that the 20th edition, that should actually come to market here in the next couple months. So that was kind of one of those not on my bingo card kind of items for the hobby, but we do have a new edition of that coming soon. Uh, and this is the first I was talking about that publicly. Um, so that is that part. So on the digital front, um, we're hoping, well, on the back end of the Scott catalog is basically a somewhat relational database that also has a flat file system for the editors to use to update things. It's an old system. We, in the last 3 weeks, have already engaged a developer. We had been working with them in advance of the acquisition. We hit their ground running, and we're hoping to have a much more nimble system that'll allow us to create all sorts of new products, offer things to, the hobby like a checklist system where you can actually inventory what your collection is worth. And, that might not happen immediately here in the next couple months, but we're building the foundation to be able to offer these sorts of things. Uh, the to the industry, we're hoping to have API data available uh, to dealers and auction houses that they might be able to get just the basic information for the catalogs to enhance and speed along their ability to list material. I think that'll be hopefully well received when we get to that point. We expect to have those utilities much earlier than the checklist functionality, but we're working with a really big picture. Um, but there's been a wish list of items in my, list of things, and I've been paying attention to everybody's comments online and everywhere. We're on the same page. I think we all want kind of the same tools out of the Scott catalog, and now I finally have the ability to make some of those decisions to make it happen. Um, let's see what else. Um, so, especially from Commonwealth collectors, reach out to us to, share what tools would be most helpful for you in your collecting areas as well. So, British Empire focus. Um, There's some complexity, obviously, with the Commonwealth areas, territories, watermark histories, printings, overprints, reigns. I mean, it's one of the most heavily referenced areas of the worldwide catalog, which is why we did bundle it together in a digital fashion. And that is currently available as a digital subscription, so you wouldn't have to purchase the 1 through 6 catalogs. But we do have that. Um, Over the years, I mean, we've talked to many specialists in the area, and I encourage, to hear from more. Um, so there's lots on that front. Let's see. So small personal diversion here, because it's the British Empire uh, thing. I am a collector of the Bahamas. Specifically 3 stamp designs. It's actually 4 postage stamps from the 1930s. There's a flamingo, a fort, and the sea garden. Uh, and I also collect the postal history from that time period. So one of the cool things in my collection is I do have this hand-painted essay. The white in this area is actually hand-painted on there, also on the lettering. And that came from the printer archives for that. I also have items that were mailed from the government house in the Bahamas. So from Edward and Wallace Simpson, their security guard, their secretary, all the things. I've gone all in, and I could talk about the Bahamas for hours, perhaps another time. Um, and then I'm also a collector of the unused stamps of the King George the Sixth reign. There's just a lot of pretty stamps from all over the world, and I've enjoyed putting those in my album. So that's that part. So beyond the catalog, so Scott Stamp Monthly is still going to include the new issue updates and everything. We're hoping to have a lot more uh, columnists come back and write for us. We're going to increase the content. I've had a laundry list of things and topics that I've wanted to cover. Always looking for suggestions and ideas. So feel free to reach out to me on that front. Um, we are going to continue Lynn Stamp News the way it is right now, which is a digital publication. A lot of the news articles might end up online first. It'll be a digital first strategy with a recap at the end of the week. Um, we are exploring the option of bringing Lynn's back as a print publication. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. We're going to look at all the numbers in the current situation of postage rates and paper and does it make sense? But we are definitely going to give real thought to the idea of bringing that back. Um, on the other side of things too, you're going to see a lot more digital content coming out of us, especially leading up to the Boston show. next year and beyond. There's just going to be a lot more digital things that we can do and collaborating with other partners in the hobby to be able to pull that off. Um, so it's the storytelling that really gets us excited about postage stamps. And I know that there's some gateways for us to reach new audiences through video content, but we have, specific targeted audiences that we think this will be very effective with. We've tested a few things just talking to people, and I think that, we've got a real plan that's going to work. So that's that. So how everybody can help, this part, I guess, means a lot to me, is that if anybody it's gonna take us a little while to get content back up to where it needs to be, but hopefully you'll have already seen, some new, stuff. This will be landing in mailboxes shortly. This is the September or the November issue of Scott Stamp Monthly. It has a new masthead on the top of it. It's being sent by a new printer, a reliable, we're gonna hit every deadline, mail it on the right date kind of printer. We'll provide them the files on the right day. We're locked and loaded. I've known these guys for years, so I'm excited that starting with that November issue, some normalcy is gonna come back to the print schedule. Normalcy will be coming back to the print schedule for the Scott catalogs as well. Um, Even possibly a little faster for some of the catalogs than what they were before. So any support from subscribing to Scott Stamp Monthly, you can subscribe just going to lins.com is the main web page right now with a subscribe button at the top. Scottstamp.com will eventually become the hub for everything Scott Catalog here in the future, and they'll basically work together, the two websites. Um, like I said a few times, submit discoveries, share corrections, research findings, new discoveries with our editorial team. I wrote an editorial in Lins last week about all of our new email addresses that we have at scottsstampllc.com. Send us notes, engage with us online. We've changed the strategy a little bit. We'll do more with it on the social media posts. There's a few things we started doing differently, and we've already noticed a lot heavier engagement in our content by just making a few small changes. So go see what we did. I won't say specifically, but it's kind of fun so far. And just spread the word, that positivity with things. I mean, I personally and David Fritz and Mystic, we have great working relationships with the other societies, like the American Philatelic Society, and the National Postal Museum, the Postal Service. I mean, I've already had a number of great conversations, and I look forward to what those partnerships are really going to pull together for everybody. So this is a collaborative journey. It's not a commercial pitch. I really do believe that stamp collecting is thriving, and there are new collectors out there. I mean, I'm interacting with more people that are younger than I am than I ever expected would end up being the case, and I know there's more out there. So I'm looking forward to the future on that front. So with that, it's a brief presentation. I'm sure nobody wants to hear me just keep talking like this with different things. So I'm gonna have, we had some questions submitted in advance, and Rob's gonna read them to me, and I'm gonna do my best to try to answer them without dodging the questions.
All
So,
right. Thanks for that, Jay. It's exciting to see the changes that are coming up with Scott. For a long time, it seemed kind of rigid, in trying to get anything changed, but it seems like you're definitely going in the right direction.
yep.
Okay. Will Scott Stamp LLC be continuing the publication of the Lynn's Dealer Directory, both print copy and online?
Yep. So we are planning on continuing the dealer directory. It did take a pause this year. That wasn't a decision that I made, and we're kind of late in the year to kind of be able to do that. So it will end up being something that we're gonna probably launch in the spring of next year, and in conjunction or related to the Boston 2026 stamp show.
Excellent. What are your immediate and future intentions for print?
So we're not going to abandon, basically, we're not going to abandon the print universe. If we're printing it already, there isn't, something where I'm going to, take out print. Um, but we're going to be doing a lot more on the digital front.
Okay. Will you continue to try providing a picture for every stamp?
Yes. So this is one thing that on the bucket list of things, and something that I believe we're going to be able to introduce to the market at some point, pretty fast. Um, is we would love to have a Wikipedia landing page, kind of like a Wikipedia landing page, but on the Scott website, on the Scott Stamp website for every stamp and miner of the world, with
Mhm.
basic information that's available for everybody. So I personally have scanned 30,000 images of postage stamps that we're gonna finish the processing and adding them to our database. But then once we get through that project, I know we have a lot more stamps that we can scan in. So we're gonna keep going down that path.
Oh, that's wonderful. When will the worldwide catalogs become available?
So this, let's see, which one? Let's see, the worldwide catalog. So is this? I believe the question that's being asked is if somebody can subscribe to just a certain country. We're just not quite there with being able to offer that at this point.
Okay. Can British Empire Study Group members get a discount?
Once we get on our new platform, if I do future talks or whatever, maybe there's one of those I can throw a code in the bottom, but right now I just don't have the technology to be able to offer such a thing. So future
Okay,
future goals, if I'll be invited back someday.
appreciated. Are you planning on an online portal where collectors can collaborate?
I mean, when it comes to collaborating, I think on a public forum, you're not going to see something specifically like that. You can interact with us on the social media side of things. I think we're probably going to focus our attention on the interactions with advisors and section leaders and everything, that we're going to facilitate a discussion for us to internally be able to make those decisions on the catalog.
Okay. Your current pages are in PDF format, which doesn't allow collectors to leverage tools like Excel and Access to simply updating the catalog values for their collection or want list. Are you planning to offer more of a database product?
I mean, so it basically, once we have the relational database up and running, the Wikipedia landing pages, and allow people to be able to put together a checklist, or like of what they have, I think that's what we're going to end up offering. We're not looking to have a separate, like, downloadable, CD program or anything like that. It'll be all within our website.
Okay. Will Scott continue to publish volumes 1 to 6, the U.S. Specialized Catalog, as well as the 1840 to 1940 Classic Catalog in 2026 and
Yeah,
beyond?
so next year, yes, all of those familiar titles will continue to be offered. I mentioned that the image size will be restored to what it was a couple years ago. Um, the new thing that probably this year, we did skip the pocket catalog. It was not something that it made financial sense to make the pocket catalog this year, but we're looking at revitalizing it into something slightly different and launching that in the fall of next year. So that's probably one of the other new items.
Okay. All right, and then this is the last of the submitted questions. And I agree with this comment here. The 1840 to 1940 catalog is the best semi-specialized catalog of the entire world's first 100 years in the English language. What is the game plan to deepen postal history, especially pricing stamps on covers?
Yeah, I mean, we in the last couple of years, we haven't made as many efforts to add values for covers. One of our key advisors when it came to adding cover values passed away, and finding somebody to pick up the baton on cover prices, which has a little more volatility to it. Um, I'm open to suggestions if somebody wants to take that on, even if it was just for one country. We've had, that happen before where it's like somebody knows the market really well that could assign some values to covers. We'd love to engage with people that could provide that data, and then we would add it.
Super. Okay, here are some of the questions that are coming in from the Q&A from this evening.
Yeah.
Um, will previous online purchases be transferred?
This would be from the Scott Online sites for the ones that we have not made a determination as to what's going to happen with those yet. It's just further down the line of my list of things that I need to uh, consider. So,
Okay. Do you have any plans to revisit the Indian states?
yes, definitely. I wish I had a longer answer to that. I just know that we were in the process of updating a couple of the Indian states, and we did do that. Not this last edition, the one before. But there's interest in doing more. There's a lot of updates that could be made on that section.
Yeah. How will you address the issues with binders availability?
So one of the interesting things of the way this was set up is that the stamp products side of the business at the moment continues to reside with Amos Media Company. So the binders is an issue with Amos Media Company.
Okay. Are there any thoughts of producing a catalog equivalent to the Stanley Gibbons Commonwealth, which goes from 1840 to 1970? The extra
So
30 years
yeah,
there.
yeah. So this has been a suggestion that's come up before. The reason the answer would have been basically a heck no for a while was because of the database. Our database could not cut such a thing out. It just did it. The thought process of how much work would go into making the database make such a catalog was just like we wouldn't do it. Now, moving forward, the potential with the new database to create something like that will be there.
Okay.
Doesn't mean we're going to do it, but it's at least possible.
Okay. You know what? This next question actually reflects what you're just saying. Will you consider adding the first issues of Norfolk Island and Tokelau into the classic catalog? These issues are British Empire, but were issued after 1940, but before 1953, and
Send the
as such
yeah,
should be
yeah.
included. Yeah,
Send the suggestion in. It's and the research material to back it up, and we'll consider it.
yeah. All right. I'm not sure what this means, but what is the future of Micarelli?
The Micarelli Guide. So I mean, we currently have that book available to people. It's the guide to the early classic stamps. And we are hoping to continue to offer it like that. But I think there's a way to really enhance that work and do a revised edition at some point in the future. But we do own the rights to that. So
All right. This will the British Empire section include Australia?
that's a great question. I mean, right now I don't divide anything up enough to, our British Commonwealth catalog includes Australia right now, but that's the only thing that I can think of that would separate it out, or I don't know fully how to answer that.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what was asked,
Yeah.
but catalog values seem to greatly exceed the actual price of stamps, even ones in very fine condition or better. Will that continue?
That's a question that's very hard to answer because it's somewhat of an art form to do things. But again, the Scott catalog is like if you walked up to somebody who stocked every stamp of the world and wanted to buy that stamp off of our price list, that's what you would expect to see. If there are some areas that are definitely wildly off, or somebody believes that they're wildly off, we welcome the input, specifically noting that, and then we can research it further.
Okay. Are there any plans to provide prices for all the stamps in a country in the Scott catalog? and in this case, butane. There are numerous stamps missing from values.
Oh, when it comes to dashed values for something, then there is likely not much information out there, or those stamps are not traded very often. So finding that data is difficult. We have found every once in a while somebody has noted a section, or I've stumbled across a section that I was like, well, we have a bunch of dashes, but all of a sudden these started turning up on the market. I've had a few of those uh, come up, and then we get them fixed. So if somebody has actual meat to a suggestion for changing some of those, we'd welcome it. But we always look at those dashes, and it does bug us just as much. So.
Okay. Uh, Greg Galletti is giving us a suggestion here. Would the Universal Postal Union WNS system be an asset that could be integrated with the Scott Online digital experience?
It's an interesting question. One of the things that I think the Scott catalog goes way above and beyond what the UPU's numbering system does is definitive stamps and mail use stamps. They do a great job with commemoratives, but when it comes to a deep dive on all the varieties of a flag stamp or whatever, the postal administrations are not sending definitive varieties to the UPU. Not in what a cataloger who really wants to know everything about it, they don't have that in their archive. They might not like that answer, so sorry, and I know it's on permanent record saying that.
I get it. Let's see. What are the proposed changes for Scott's Specialized? My version lacks things like postcard-sized opium, IRS stamps, and page-size U.S. stock dealer stamps.
I mean, there are a lot of revenue stamps that if they don't basically have a denomination to them, they are not listed in the Scott catalog. Those are, items that, we could consider if we wanted to, once we do all the things with the postage section, what can we do beyond with other catalogs and other items like that? But right now, I don't have anything specific that we'd be adding like that.
Okay. Will album pages / supplements continue to be available?
Yes. So any existing album pages that the Amos Media Company created and has a file and it's on amosadvantage.com, you will be able to purchase those. They will continue to produce the new supplements for each of the countries. We continue to work with them in making those happen. So we're proofing them, but they will continue to sell the album pages. When it comes to new products on the album page world, so that wish list of why don't you make that such and such page for whatever it is, that falls to our entity and we can create those pages and then sell them. So there are new album page products that'll come down the pipeline too.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Would you consider consolidating grill information and other information that is spread throughout the Specialized catalog into the front portion?
Like I mean, it comes down to the database. Like once we have the database being able to do and move around things easier, it's easier to have the conversation or to even think about it. Not having an answer is just because there's just no way we could currently do it with our existing database. So I didn't think about, I wouldn't have an answer at the moment.
No, I get it. Will we be able to buy digital once and then keep it?
I mean, the universe has basically, like when you subscribe to Apple, Adobe, Microsoft, it's you license it for how long? Now, could we drop the price on this? Yeah. There's a way to be price sensitive. There's a way for us to be a lot more flexible on how many times, you pay for it. If it's like a monthly access fee instead of the yearly, all of those things are being considered, but I'm not considering like just the one-off purchase of a digital product at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Rick Howell asks a question very related to what you just said. He wants to know, what are the chances of bringing down the price of the digital catalogs? At the end of the year, we have nothing to show for our investment. If we drop the price to $100 a year, he would subscribe.
Right. I mean, we're looking at all the flexibility options available to it. Right now, our focus is 100% on getting all of the domains and the information and servers transferred over. And once we get past that little hurdle, then we'll start looking at the prices on the digital catalog. But I do have some flexibility coming on that front.
Is your new database in the cloud?
It is, well, right now it's on a server closet in Sydney, Ohio. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, what we're moving to is still being debated. There's a lot of data, a lot of data.
Yeah, it's a lot of data. And then the final submitted question here is, will the pricing of the catalogs remain relatively the same?
Yeah. I mean, for next year, I mean, I still haven't gotten our quotes back from our printer that's going to be producing the catalogs. There is the possibility of a slight increase because we're restoring the page restoring the image size, which will add to the page count. But I mean, that's just the way it would go. I would rather have a bigger image of a stamp that you can actually, see all the detail that you would want to identify it and pay just a little bit more to accomplish that. But I haven't seen, quotes from the printer to know what I can do on pricing yet.
Okay. All right, now we can go to the audience and take questions. Rafael Blanco has been waiting for a while. I see his hand up.
Raphael,
Hi, Jay.
hey,
I have a couple of questions. So I did notice that there's still the Amos website selling the Scots, but the your new domain, Scots Stamped, doesn't have any capabilities to sell yet. You're always going to be attached to Amos website, or you're going to decouple from them?
No, we're in the process of decoupling. We're building our own retail platform, but for right now, during this transition services of the next couple months, just to make sure it's a seamless transfer. That's they're continuing to sell our products for now.
Okay. The other question I have is still looking for investors. Or that
Eh, I'm always I will always entertain any conversation if somebody wanted to reach out to us. So.
okay, well, good luck. Thanks, Jay.
Great, thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Raphael.
if there's anyone who I forgot to bring over, please raise your hand. If you don't want to come over and still want to ask a question, you could raise your hand and we could unmute you. So it's totally your choice. Thanks.
Thanks, Joan. Ed Osan, you had your hands up.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're muted.
Mute me?
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, hi. I'm a collector and a few years ago I bought the Scott digital catalogs 2021 and 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And just this past week, Jay, I found that I no longer have access to those catalogs that I'd purchased. And I tried on two different browsers, and I'm not a big, techie, but my interpretation of the messages was that the security key had lapsed on those on the Scott,
Yeah.
and so they were no longer secure, and my browser wouldn't connect with them.
Yep, I'll make a note of it, but also email me at the email address that I had on the presentation.
Okay.
Last week, Friday, we switched the web domains with the purchase. We got like 21 different web domains that had to shift over.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those security certificates behind the scenes could have got mixed up. So I
Okay.
apologize for that.
All right. Really appreciate you honoring those the purchases of past Scott customers.
Yep.
And if you missed Jay's email, you're welcome to email us and we'll forward it on to Jay.
All right. Tadas Osmolskis.
Okay. I know some of the other catalogs in the world, instead of having a value like 25 cents for the minimum value. They mark it like MV, minimum value.
Right.
We have people constantly coming into our club thinking, wow, I have thousands of dollars worth of stamps. And we have to go through the explanation every time.
Right.
Is there any chance you could switch from 25 cents to minimum value?
I mean, it comes to a database thing. In our current database, that would be impossible. In a new database, it is, it could be possible, but it's also one of those things that when you guys are describing that to other people, we also describe that in the front of the catalog. And it's one of those unfortunate moments of how many times we've had to say, can you read the introduction to the catalog? We probably answer your question there. But you are right. It is something that is a little bit tricky to understand the minimum value. So I'll make a note of that.
And is there any chance that the 1840 to 1940 could go could turn into 1840 to 1952 for everybody, not just the Commonwealth?
Yeah, it basically is 52 just for the Commonwealth right now. It's something, we might entertain. But again, it's a database thing at the moment. To be able to easily cut and bring everything in like that would take months of work
Yeah,
in the existing fashion. So I'll keep that in mind
when the
also.
database comes, when Quinn the Eskimo gets here, everyone's going to jump for joy. Okay,
Oh yeah.
thank you.
Quinn,
When? It's gonna come fast. I hope like this next year. So we'll be starting with volume 1 here shortly. And when that year of the catalog season is done, we are building the database behind the scenes that it will produce the 28 season of catalogs. So it is happening fast and furious on our side, but we don't want to do a break in the middle of a catalog season.
Rob, Ed Frazier, who's on the other side of this iron curtain, has his hand up and you might not see him.
oh, I don't.
Yeah.
Wanted
Ed?
to ask, I notice in some catalogs, they will indicate that for this design, there is postal stationery that uses this indicium. And that would eliminate a lot of the imperf stamps you see on eBay if people realize that they were just cutouts of this exact same design. I don't know how prevalent it is, but I collect Finland. I know that I see that happening all the time.
Yeah.
Second idea is that on the perforations, if you distinguish between comb perforations and line perforations, where the perforations are given, it that always get mixed up in eBay or in the catalog. And the other is that Fournier did not use comb perforations on, for example, France. And a lot of the detailed study of how to distinguish Fournier forgeries in France would be simply to say, is the item comb perforated, then it's a forgery.
Yeah, I believe this is going to be the beauty of that database. When it comes to a landing page for every stamp, for those that want to take that deep dive into the perforations or how to tell, some fakes that exist for that stamp, we're hoping that we would be able to add that information to that page, but it would be at different levels of intensity of how much you'd want to deep dive on it.
Right. Well, I will add that on the current forgeries that they make out of wherever they make them, they do a lot of things comb perforated that didn't exist comb perforated originally. So
Okay.
there's a limit, but thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks, Ed. Bruce Roberts.
Yes, this is not specifically about the catalog, but it is a concern. I am a subcommittee chair for a group for Boston 2026. My subcommittee is building the collection. This is interacting with new adults. I don't have the catalog as part of my concern, but I am concerned about albums and, related supplies. And I'm planning to, for someone who's just coming in, I plan to have a pretty good display of albums and stuff. So my basic question is, Are the changes going on, how is that going to affect the whole Scott album production? Quiet,
You
shut
already
up and
answered
listen.
that.
Yeah, I mean, any of the changes that are coming on the album side of things is that there's going to be more available than what was offered. I mean, so I mean, some of the things, like one of the big things that I felt like was one of my successes was that I introduced the used album series for the United States. I did it selfishly, but that is a well-received product now, that people want that album in their collection. My other, bucket list item is having a classic worldwide album that matches the classic catalog. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing some of those turn up at some point. So we're definitely thinking about that. You also mentioned Boston. I'm not going to deep dive on all the things that I've got on my vision board and things I'm helping behind the scenes, but there is a lot of excitement coming for that show. And I'm thrilled now that I have the ability to make some of those decisions for that, to help that show out.
All right. Micah Saub.
Hello there. I wonder if you have any plans to make any cross references between Scott numbers and other publishers' numbers.
I see Hugh in the photo, and I think we're both laughing for the same reason. I mean, it's generally just been one of those things that for years, catalogers, you're protective of your information and your way of doing it. So, I mean, to do a cross-reference is, sometimes we don't agree on things, and doing a cross-reference just brings a spotlight to those things that we might not agree on. But maybe there's someday we all get along. I don't know.
That's great. Chip Aarons.
Jay, I want to first of all congratulate you and admire your energy and your enthusiasm and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
A quick question. I had to drop off a couple of times. You may have answered this. Will you be including the graded prices in the 2026 US Specialized?
It is in the new 26 that did just land on our desks a couple weeks ago. It does have the graded section in there, the yellow pages.
Excellent. And do you have, my understanding is, I've read that the 2026 is the last hard copy edition. You probably know more about it than other people, so I'll
The
ask you.
last hard copy edition. I mean, that's a good rumor, but it's not true.
Great. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thanks, Chip. Paul Summit.
Yes, I have a couple of questions about the database, but first off, I would like to say your scottstamp.com is not secure. You said a while ago about
That's probably the Friday of last week thing, and it will be very soon.
yes, I wanted to point that out to you, but the thing about the database is you say it's located on land. It's is the API and the schema going to be available for the database?
I mean, basically, when it comes to somewhat of the tech talk end of things, I defer to the people smarter than me when it comes to exactly what to do.
You need
I
to
just
take
know that the
this.
data is heavily backed up, and its existing format is used to produce a print catalog, which is the same thing that creates our digital catalog. And we've got to do things different, hence why I got the keys to the car with the help of some great stamp friends. And we're gonna hopefully be able to do something cool with it. But at specifics, all to be determined. I had a lot of server talk earlier today with my team, so I'm probably like tech talked out.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you do with it, the
All right, I
database
appreciate that.
especially. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Paul. David Klauber.
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions. On the United States Pocket Stamp Catalog, do you intend to go back to the old format? The new one tends to fall apart, and I've had a lot of complaints from club members about that. They liked the ringed version of that much better.
The ring, yeah, the ring. I think you mean like this version?
Like this version.
You want it to go back to that version?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
been, yeah, and for a lot of club members who like to go to Bourses and spend money, do you have any intention on doing those for other countries like China and or Germany or something like that? Because are there any ones that are outside of the US for these pocket?
We offer checklists right now for a bunch of countries that would probably hit on most of the ones that people would be bringing to Stamp Show to mark off, but it does not have values on it.
Okay, and yeah, because people really tend to like these having the unlabeled columns for keeping their
Right.
information. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think with changes for the Pocket catalog, I do plan on sending out surveys to the people who have purchased them in the last number of years to get input before we make decisions on it.
yeah. Because I can tell you, there's a lot of club members who would really appreciate that. So
Yep, sounds good. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thanks, David. Richard Livingston.
Hello. I want to say excellent presentation. And I especially enjoyed you saying that you were going to restore essays and proofs to the U.S. specialized catalog. But my question comes up, and you're saying that you'd like to help individual collectors have databases hooked up to that. And I'd like to have a comprehensive database that I could use to buy stones in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like a comprehensive database that collectors would be able to use, it's probably going to be through our future digital catalog where you can kind of flip through and then, add the item to your digital collection, rather than like a connection for an individual collector, like an API or something to, their individual PC. But that's basically where we're at the moment.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Doug Maddox.
Good evening. I appreciate your presentation today. My frustration, like many collectors, are the minimum value stamps that no one has and no one's ever seen. You have a way of, or plan a way to harvest that data, and maybe they're rare and need to have higher catalog values so people look for them.
Yeah, I mean, we look all the time. I mean, the interesting part was that some of those stamps are actually the hardest ones to find for digitizing to add them to the catalog. But as we're digging to find these things, we'll be looking at that information, and we do make those changes when, when we stumble across it.
All right, thank you. Steve Zirinsky.
Hello, Jay. I want
Hey.
to thank you for what you're doing. I want to also shout out Marty
Yeah.
Frankowitz, because I'm the lost soul who worries about overprints on stamps in countries that no one sees, and Marty plays along with me on that. But I want to try to help you out on one of the questions about why you and Hugh Jeffries and everybody else has decided that everybody should have their stamps on the catalog numbers all mashed together. Because what I do with these overprints before anyone lists them, I do my own listing, and then I put down the way Scott does it. Then I would put down the way Gibbons does it for the basic stamps, and then I come up with my own system. And everybody does it a little differently. For example, you might start if it's a pair of stamps from Samoa that is a sunrise and a sunset, you might start with the sunset and do the sunrise. And then Gibbons will do it the other way around. It doesn't matter. And why, and it just is, and it's hard enough just to get the information on the page rather than having any catalogs coordinating with each other. And Mikhail does it differently anyhow. So, okay.
Right.
And that's all.
I appreciate it.
I just thought I'd say that, drop that in. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Dilip LeMay.
Thank you. I have a couple of comments and a question. The first comment is related to earlier discussion about the 1840 to 1940, the first 100 years. I spent a lifetime completing that entire album, and I would hate to have you change the 1840 to 1940 to 1952. I'll have to spend another lifetime, which I don't have, to go from 40 to 52. So that's just a comment. There are
Appreciate
only
that.
about 10 or 15 of us that have the whole thing completed 100% on
Very
the
nice.
album. So, but my other comment is related to another comment, another discussion item, which was the cross-referencing of catalog numbers. I actually am a big collector of Indian states, and I've actually mapped the Scott numbers against the Gibbons numbers. It's a huge database. I can't publish it because I know Scott and Gibbons have private, they're copyrighted these catalog numbers, so I can't publish it. But in doing that, I found out that there are many Gibbons numbers that Scott doesn't list. And I understand, I heard rumors that you have some efforts underway with one of my friends to change the Scott listings for Indian states. I'd like to know how far along that effort is and whether it's going to happen within the next year or two. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of a timeline on anything and any specific changes, I mean, I don't have anything that I can say for a timeline of when we do it. We have the feedback, we seek out additional feedback, and we continue to make revisions to that area. That is one area we are looking at further.
Thank you.
Yep.
Edith Egan.
First of all, absolute wonderful presentation. Enjoyed it so much. Fantastic work. The question I have is, are you going to, with your database on its content, are you going to have a configuration management function?
I mean, the specifics of it, we're in the early discussions on it, but I don't have any specifics that, on that sort of functionality.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Hugh Jeffries.
Hi, thanks. Hello,
Yeah.
Jay.
Good to
Good
see
to
you.
see you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for the presentation. Great to hear all the positivity, and I wish you and Scott all the very best of luck.
Well, thank you.
And yeah, you have my sympathy with the road ahead. As you know, it's not going to be a matter of trying to make everybody happy, but wondering whether you'll ever make anybody happy. But yeah, it's all good news, and yeah, good to hear. May I ask, have the catalogues been produced this year? Because we've not seen them over in England.
Yeah.
And
we have produced them. I mean, once I got the keys to the car here, it was kind of late in the year. But to get a set of catalogs your way, I'll make sure that ends up happening soon.
okay, that's very kind, because I'm semi-retired now, as you probably know, and I was in the office yesterday and they said, oh, we haven't received any Scott catalogues, so I don't think we'll send any of ours. So I said, no, just keep going. It'll all come right
fair.
in the end. There's a good chap in charge now.
So
So
now you know why you weren't getting them. I was waiting until I had permission to be able to do it. So
great. Very good news.
All right,
Thanks
well,
very
you.
much. And if there's anything I can help with, just let me know.
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Hugh. Jay, I've got a question.
Yeah.
It's actually a slippery slope question.
Okay.
When it comes to color, what's
color?
your perspective? Yeah, I know. What's your perspective in going to the future? I mean, I'm seeing discussions saying that there could be a universal approach to it, at some point,
I mean, so
when it comes to naming,
when it comes to color is so tricky because I mean it's sometimes just comes down to the editor at the time who is doing the catalog. And like right now, any of the modern listings from 1980 to date, they're very consistent in how we describe the color because the editor who is listing it hasn't changed for 40 years. So, that's helpful. I mean, and Marty can look and see you know, like, oh, blah blah was the editor of the catalog at that time period, you know, from 1940 to 1950, and he did it this way, or you know, like I get that insight to it. Um, One interesting color thing that is going to come with the relational database is actually with U.S. postal stationery. I personally scanned one of every single U.S. major number for the postal stationery section, all on the same scanner bed, all color corrected using the same everything. And those images are updating in our database behind the scenes, and there'll be an image there that your monitor is going to show color differently. You know, the printer will print it a little bit differently, but at
Yeah.
least everything was done consistently across the same scanner bed. And if you look at the catalog values of some of those envelopes, the fact that I had every one of them go through my hands minus one is kind of cool. So
Wow.
I'm really excited about being able to offer you know, that. But when it comes to color for the world, you know, it's what it is, and it takes a lot to get a color changed.
Understood.
Yep.
All right. Do we have any more questions from the audience?
They probably go on forever.
We probably could, but you know, we can leave some for another talk.
Yeah, I mean, this is so exciting, and it has only been has it been a whole month yet?
It's felt like a year to me, but it's been just under a month for the public announcement part of things.
Wow, you've done a lot in such a very short time. You guys should be, it's very, very exciting. I think,
Yes,
Richard, you have your hand up. You want to get one last question in?
Jay, I've had some laryngitis problems, but I'll try a question here, give you an opportunity. Yeah, my question is there any consideration of adding Canadian revenue to the Scott catalog?
I mean, there's additional possibilities with the digital catalog that we couldn't do in print. So anything, you know, the world's our oyster when it comes to stuff in the future. So
Thank you very much.
yep.
All right. Clive Levinson, I see you have your hand up.
Oh, unmute. Hi. Regarding color, there've been online discussions between various people about ways of handling color. I've recently created an application which the idea is you scan the Scott color guide or the Gibbons color guide, and you scan that with your own scanner, and then you can use the application to match stamps to the guide. Currently, it's in beta. I'm hoping to have the final release in a week or two, but if anybody wants to try it, I can post the link in chat. I'd appreciate any feedback from anyone who does try it. The biggest gap at the moment, unfortunately, is online help, so it's a bit of a guessing game, but I'm available by email for anybody who has any questions. Another quick comment regarding cross-references of catalogues. I noticed that the Iberian Irish catalogue and the Bell Israel catalogue both have Gibbons and Scott cross-references. I was wondering if they had some sort of licensing arrangement with
There
at the time.
there were some exceptions or licensing agreements that were reached with some organizations to be able to offer cross-references.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure it's all
Yep.
above board. It's just a surprise.
It's not many.
Discovering
I know that.
Yeah. Well, I'll post the link to the application for anybody who wants to give it a try in the chat. Thanks.
Thanks for that offer, Clive. Okay, is there anybody else?
All right.
Jay, thank you very much. This is really exciting. I know there's some a lot of exciting people involved in this new venture, and it really, really looking forward to seeing what the future holds.
I appreciate it greatly, and I appreciate your time.
And we will have you back because we want to hear more about your collecting interest. And of course, everyone's going to pick your brain on Scott catalog, but we'll talk about the collecting interest.
And don't burn out.
I won't. I appreciate that.
Okay. All right, so let's say goodnight, everyone, so we could let Jay get some sleep. He needs it to keep us happy.
Right? I'll try.
And well, thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Nice
Thanks,
to see
everybody.
you, Jay.
All right. See you.
Night.
Good night. Good night, you.
Good night.
Cheers,
Luck,
Joan.
Jay.
Night.